Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with Imperial Destroyer mod. Last time around, we made an advance towards their capital, but we were checked by an ambush. Since then, the situation has quite changed, as I've been able to advance on the capital, and is laying it under siege, or their current capital, I should say, their actual capture, or their actual capital has been under our control for quite a while at this point. But their current provisional capital down here is currently under siege. So I've been able to march through there. I'm not entirely sure how these troops got there. And I'm not entirely sure why they're sending the troops all over the place. But they are consolidating the troops around this area. So if you remember last time, there was an army marching this way. But that has now turned back north, and an army came down from this border region, as well as they draw troops from here, and that's why I've been able to lay siege, because they draw the troops away. So currently, we kind of have the last remnant of an actual force of Mughals in this region, in the Gujarat region. However, because of bankruptcy and so on, you can see that the troops are quite diminished. Normally, these units should hold 400 men, and they're down below 200, most of them, and I can assume that that goes for most of these armies. Before I actually lay siege to this area, it was ready to revolt because of the bankruptcy and other problems that have been suffering the area. I mean, if I'd let them just go on as they were, they'd probably be able to bankrupt the region, as it's dropping way below 6,000 in wealth, and it's dropping rather quickly as well. Plus, there's almost 1% of the populace is dying each turn, 0.83, and there's 3.4 million in the region, so you can kind of get the math on how many people are starving there right now. They need us to take control of them. the standard line of any colonial power ever, that we are beneficial to them. It's not like my invasion has caused this famine, not at all. And even with the areas I control, we have famine. Devastation from army is a lot in this. Ooh, I was talking about how bad the starvation was here, and then I got 2.7% in my own province, in a province that is almost 5 million. Right. Is there any... Oof. There's a lot. Oh yeah, this happened as well. I think it's part of that strange... what was it called? The North American native event that's still going on here. That sort of random provinces decide to revolt against me. So we have quite the disturbance in this area. Disturbance of the force. And where we need some extra troops to rally. Before we go ahead and play the battles here, I wanted to quickly go over to the Caribbean and take a look at what's going on here. So I have been able to get my fleet into port, and I sent the relief force and has joined the army together with native contingent from New Orleans. So we actually have a full stack now ready to take on the Spanish, which are heading north. We'll be heading after them soon enough. But I think a lot of the power of the Spanish is due to their navy. So out of nowhere, I don't know where all these fleets are coming from really. They must be coming from the coastline here. They must have tons of ships, because I just sunk the fleet that was here, laying siege to it, and then a bigger one turns up. We've got 4 74-gun ships, plus 3 Rasay frigates. So that's a pretty mighty force, even with the fact that my force that is in port contains 3 47s, 74s I mean, and 2 of these 84s and 356. But then there's also this navy that turned up. Another big force. Razzay frigates, 54, 74, and so on. And it's Pepe Galas, a 90-gun ship. Is that the commander? The commander is called Pepe? What is this? The Spanish are trolling me. Pepe? Pepe Galas. Interesting enough. Right, and they've been continuously trying to strangle my my trade here in the region, where ships have been turning up. Where is my small? There's my small fleet, I think. Yes, here's my fleet that has been running around cutting down the Spanish ships. They come one by one, kind of trying to block all my trade, or my sugar trade. But I've been able to keep it open with this fleet right here. So 174. Yes, for this episode as well, I have finally been able to get a ship over here. So let's go ahead and discover. So this entire area, I have not been to this region more, as you can see, kind of to this trade post, and that's about it. So I'm thinking we'll kind of pass through all these. So we'll first go to the spice plantation over here. Spice! It's not a very good spice plantation. Then we'll go to the gem mine. It's a deep shaft. I don't know what we say about that. And then we can head north through here. We'll pass by and discover some islands. Once that's done, we'll go into this bay and we discover another small plantation. And the Papalo Crafts workshop. They're making pots there. East Indian pots. I guess we could sell them. I was never able to figure out the trade post thing in this mod. No AI uses it, so I imagine it's quite complicated and similar to how you work the other things in this mod. It's not very straightforward how it actually works. Prestige, so far, it kind of holds at the same. I think the Swedes might have fallen a little bit since last time. I'm not entirely sure. We've got poor Georgia here with 13 points compared to Great Britain with almost 6,000. Right, with that, let's go to India and fight some battles. I'm thinking that we'll quickly knock off this one. I mean, we've fought this kind of battle forever, so I think maybe I'll jump that one and we'll do this one to start off with. Kind of an interesting army, only really set up as a garrison to protect. So we only got the East India Corps troops. We'll see how many of the Mughals that is drawn. Oh, I was hoping all of them would be drawn into this battle. Anyways, they still have enough power to force me to play it, because there's not enough power here for me to out-resolve, even though I have about twice the numbers. And I mean, the army is completely shit, if you ask me. So I don't know why I can't just out-resolve it and go after some of the other stacks in the area. But with that said, let's go ahead and smash through the Mughal Empire. Pretty straightforward right here. I have 4 brigades, 3 of which have 4 regiments in them, with a reserve brigade in the back with 3 regiments. The one in the back is at full strength of 400 men, while the others have been suffering from, I don't think it was sickness actually, I think it was a drought So, lack of food. AI starts off by suicide charging straight into this regiment, and it's a strategy that pays off. And that seems to be going all around for the Indian force. They're just straightforward. I think I should have micromanaged the volleys here to get the best result and actually break up these charges. But seeing as though the brigade is having quite the trouble, you should be able to lay full fire onto that one, yeah. Seeing as half the brigade having quite the problem, the other two are able to swing in and they should be able to cut up the sides. We've got similar suicide charges going straight into the regiments. The infantry not having the same luck as they get torn up by musket fire before they reach the lines. But once they reach the line, the Indian troops do have an advantage in their melee skill. So 3 regiments out of 4 will send this one up along the side of the wall here. We've got 1 retreating over here, but they will soon be cut down by flanking fire from the 43rd and 67th Regiment. So risk here of my howitzer getting overrun. I'm gonna send forwards 2 of the reserve regiment, the 69th and the 7th, yes. Why can't I say it? I don't know. The 68 will be moved up in a slight angle to cover just in case the cavalry decides to move that way. The 3rd Brigade suffered the least in the attack, and I will actually detach the 11th Regiment, put it at an angle, and trying to aid the 53rd, which have suffered heavily. 53rd should actually pull back and open up for the 70th Regiment. There, I could say it. Huzzah! You'll be pulled back as well. I think we'll drag both these back through the gap here and allow the infantry regiments to open full fire, the reserve regiments, plus the ones in the side, to open full fire on the enemy. At the same time as these 3 have destroyed the Hindu musketeers. Now what remains is the enemy general. Has been very little work from my howitzers. I wonder maybe... Well, if I cut down the general, the battle is definitely over. So if you could get a good barrage going off against that bastard, that would be nice. And if that idiot would be so kind as to ride straight in to... Oh shit, we're blowing up the entire unit, aren't we? Not that I'd care. Victory is close at hand against the Mughal bastards. Can I fire on the howitzer? There we go. Victory was achieved. Now, we lost more than necessary, but as I said, I've no care in the world as victory is just around the corner. Here's the result of that battle, and I mean the casualties aren't that bad, given that I lost about a fifth of my army, 1,200 men out of 5,300. The enemy lost a lot more of their force. They lost about 75% compared to my, what, 20% then? And only 400-500-ish men survive out of their army. Nothing really interesting to say about these statistics. And so the enemy is forced away, and I think we will continue on this. So the next force in this area, which is strong, is this one over here. So what I want to do is I just want to walk out and see if they attack me when I move out. And they do! They do! And the force to the south... Wait, are they reinforced by the guys to the north? it wouldn't be, would it? Because there's not that many men, and as I recall, there wasn't that many pikemen and not that many cavalry. So this force, even though it looks supernumerous, is only 1,000 men. So we're talking about an enemy army of 3,000 men. That's really pitiful. Plus I'm getting reinforcements from a from the port down here, which I sent a force to recapture. So 2 howitzers and an infantry unit. Quite interesting. Well, with that, let's go straight into it and smash the Mughal forces. With my diminished strength, there is not enough troops to form that many brigades, but we're gonna have... I should actually spread this one out a little bit. But we can get 2 brigades of 3 regiments each. And then 1 smaller reserve brigade, where we have a little bit above 100, and then I have 2 smaller companies, which less than 100 in each, and they will go ahead and protect. Oh, shit! I did not notice that. I guess that enemy reinforcement is spawning in really close. Okay, here comes this cannon. The only way I'll be able to get this one to kind of aid this fight is get them all the way up there. So we'll try to get them to that position. Given the enemy's position here, if I can, it would be nice if 2nd Brigade was able to kind of get up on that ridge, and 1st was able to get all the way up here. Normally I try not to run, but we're gonna run to those positions. Howitzers will set up there. Reserve Brigade will turn its attention to the back where the enemy is turning up, where the general is fighting, and he actually killed the enemy general. And then the small companies are fighting. Alright, let's get the 2nd howitzer to that position. As enemies are turning up from that area, I'll start by setting this 400-man regiment here, but it will turn to the other side as soon as possible. And these should be set up as soon as possible as well. So currently there's quite the fight. The smaller company down here has lost about half strength towards these small cavalry charges. The small companies should be set up on the hill here, protect them from direct cavalry charges. Should see about getting the general out of that fight and having the reserve brigade shoot down what's left of the enemy general's escort. The main attack is now coming in on the main brigades. We were able to climb the hill, so we've got good arc of fire straight at them. But there's a lot of them, and those are some big regiments. You're kind of out of line, I think. Better to turn you a little bit. And so far we're able to level those shots into the enemy. Half reserve brigade will move forward, and this one will cover the gap. Looks like it's too late to cover the gap though. We have 1 heavy cavalry unit able to strike here. Howitzers should now focus over on this side, as there is where they're attacking. Really, 1st Brigade is in quite a difficult situation, and you know what? Even if that completely destroys the smaller companies, I'm gonna target them with my howitzers. Okay, most of the enemy were broken down on the charge. Heavy fighting is taking place here. I'm gonna pull this one back and let the 55th Regiment do most of the melee there. Most likely they'll break, but as they break, they will open up for the 56th and 43rd to fire on them. We've got the 127th Holy Men trying to go around us. We've got impossible terrain, and if I can get... Oh, one howitzer has been attacked. There's so much cavalry coming in. Oh, yeah, the reserve brigade and so on is falling apart. I'm gonna get these 400 men to, as quickly as possible, charge this way. We need to break this main attack just so I can turn the two brigades around and start facing the enemy that's coming in behind. Actually, you don't have a good target, so you should turn around already. And oof, you kind of ended up in a bad spot. Cavalry is the most important target. Okay, so they broke the 55th, but now they're basically running a gauntlet through fire. And we broke that one. You should be fine where you are on the crest of the hill. But you need to go back, cover the 43rd in the flank. The small companies and the reserve brigade completely overrun by enemy fire, or by enemy force, I should say. Mostly cavalry. Why aren't you firing? Now you are. Destroying the enemy. My howitzer position has been overrun, and it's not looking good for 2nd Brigade. The 56th is completely kind of overrun, and it's complete mayhem as they fight with the Jaipur Nagash, whatever that is, or what that means. 1st Brigade, though, is still going strong. Maybe I can rout them with my general. I doubt it. I kinda need to face the cavalry over here, so we'll have to take a few pot shot from the Hindu musketeers as we set up the lines here. Oh, and the enemy set up their bloody artillery piece. The 400 men strong regiment seems to be doing fine. My howitzers needs to focus in. Oh shit. You know what? As much as it pains me, I might have to start firing into the 56th regiment. 1st Brigade is doing fine. I'm gonna turn this regiment around to face this force right here, and then my cavalry will ride out their cavalry. Oh shit, the lancers. That is nasty. That's a lot of lancers. Okay, 2nd Brigade is completely destroyed. Or is this coming back? I don't even know how you ended up over there. Okay, see if I can aid by firing over here. Oh shit, they're coming back from all sides. Oh no, there's so many of them coming this way. Did we ever manage to kill their general? Keep shooting, and hopefully we can break them down. I think there's too many of them. Why are there so many? Why are we doing so poorly? At least we're breaking this regiment over here. We're breaking tons here, finally. Good, good. Aim for the lances. Aim for the lances. 87 lances coming straight at us. You've got good time and good shot. Break them before they reach. They're tired. Continue to fire. Break them, break them, break them. Now it kind of turns around here. When I'm no longer able to fire. I want to turn the regiment so badly. Actually, both of them. And I want to get you out of the way. What's going on here? It's risky business, but I'm gonna fire on my own regiment. And we're gonna do something similar here. Where I'm gonna run my units away, and hopefully these guys will shoot down the holy men as they pass. And that will hopefully break them and save the 57th Regiment. If nothing else, it gives us time to break this regiment down in somewhat of a good fashion. And we did. Oh, and the 62nd actually managed to get out of that. Here we've got a fight. So, kind of odd. If you stand on the ridge, they should be able to fire down upon them. We've got smaller units of enemies. I need one regiment on the ridge and the other one to protect, with the general in between as these guys are making their way over here. Tell the howitzers to fire at will. Let's take a look at what's going on. So what I have left, the howitzers, the 62nd, which might, the enemy might just catch up to the 62nd. 3 cavalrymen stopping the 56th. There we go. So that frees up another regiment to be moved there. Or at this point, a company size. 2 smaller companies to set up on the flanks of the regiments. And then the 62nd will join the line over here. Oh, I forgot to tell you to fire at will, but that's just as well. Damn it, lances. Nice. Enemy general down. I think that might be it. That might be enough to break the army and call this a victory. This turned out a lot harder than I thought it was. How could I not foresee that this turned out to be such a nasty battle? It didn't last for very long. It lasted for 13 minutes about. But this turned out to be a very nasty battle. And a very close one at that as well. It's going to be heavy casualties on our side. The thing is though, I have the money and the resources to replenish my losses. Can't say the same for the Mughal Empire. Here's the result of our battle. We managed to lose almost half of our forces. However, the enemy suffered worse, with only having 700 men left after the battle. But there's not a big difference here. Interestingly enough, the men we lost is 1776. Highest killers and so on. You can go ahead and pause and take a look at that if you're interested. Not entirely sure what was the... why it was so difficult, really. I guess it was... I don't know. The fact that they had so many men actually spawning behind me, and I didn't set enough troops looking at that area. Like, what you saw was I was able to, you know, stop the attack from the front. That army, I cut that one down. Really what it was the fact that I neglected kind of how many troops were going to come in reinforcement, and the fact that I put too few troops and not fast enough really to plug that gap to protect my rear, and that's why we lost so many men, especially not being able to stop the cavalry that kind of rode in there. And as that was going on with my, the rear of my army getting broken up, the enemy was able to recover in the frontal attack and resume that attack. It's very nasty, but we were able to win nonetheless. And the Mughal forces are dispersed. However, with me, I don't think I even sent my troops to march to this area. And we're definitely not going to stay here. We're going to go back into the capital as we lost so many troops. I've got tons of hussars ready to be recruited. The thing is, though, these armies hold it was a little over 600 men. They're not going to put up any resistance anymore. And now I should go in to crush the last bit here. This will be a huge loss at this point, and only this force over here will remain. So without further ado, let's go in for the third battle of this video. And so the fight begins! The enemy is sallying forth out of the castle, and my men are just barely getting up onto the ridge. Let's turn in the sides to envelop the enemy, and then make sure to block the advance of his cavalry reinforcements. Heavy fighting, we've already broken some of their units. Sepoy regiments holding the main attack off, but they're sending tons and tons of troops into the fight. Oh, this is gonna be nasty. Some full volleys out of this into the flank of the regiment that is currently attacking over here. It's gonna absolute destruction. Currently though, my howitzers seem preoccupied with firing on a retreating regiment. If I could get something going over in the center there, that would be nice. Okay, we've got one of our regiments that is about to break. But at the same time, we've got tons of the Mughal regiments starting to break. They're breaking all along the line at this point. First line, having suffered a lot of casualties, will be ordered to withdraw, if nothing else, but to open up fire for the secondary line to get free view of fire on the enemy that was sallying forth. Still a few regiments inside the fort. I'm gonna send the cavalry over here to block the enemy. Is it all cavalry? Lancers. It's 2 units of lancers. Really, the way that we're gonna be able to break those lancers is really only if I'm able to start shooting at them. First part of the battle is over. We're gonna rally the cannons and we're gonna move them closer to fire on the troops inside the garrison at the same time as we're here preparing to shoot away all those bloody lancers. My cavalry is riding them all down. might be time to hold fire here, as I do not wish to shoot my own troops. These two will march to here to protect that, while these will take a better position on the hill to have a clear view towards the castle. Same time these get shot to pieces. Troops rally there. Howitzers up to the top of the ridge, being able to lay down fire. Concentrate the cavalry on the enemy. And soon enough, we'll have victory. The enemy refuses to surrender, and we have no other choice then to let the howitzer shots fly. Might take a while, there's quite a few of them, but I imagine soon enough they'll rethink their decision not to surrender the fort, and they'll flee. Meanwhile, I mean, my cavalry rode down so many of their troops. I'm not... Yeah, they managed to caught up to a lot of them right about here. And as you can see, they got quite a lot. I imagine that the cavalry is actually might be the ones that kill the most. Maybe slightly rivaled by the howitzer just by this last show of force by my howitzers. Looks like the enemy is might just gonna come out of this gate. Seems like a huge mistake on their part. Actually, why don't I concentrate fire just around there? That'll be perfect. I'll actually tell these guys to hold fire, and we'll wait until enough of them come out here. All my troops are ready. Some are even hidden here. Yes, keep running closer. Keep running closer. And everyone will be loaded and ready. Right. Let the bullets fly. Caught in an absolute whirlwind of angry lead. Same time, the 3 regiments left inside. Certainly not doing too well. Still holding on to that Mughal flag into the very last. I might have to climb it. No, looks as though we don't need to climb it because the enemy has surrendered. The fort is ours. Here's the result of that fight. We can see they deployed equal numbers. However, I lost 1,500 compared to the enemy lost 5,360. Only 140 make it out of an army of 5,500. Interestingly enough, the enemy only killed 700, while I I lost more than twice that number. Can I really have killed so many of my own? Although the howitzers were firing into the melee fight, and that probably caused quite a bit of casualties on my side. Let's go ahead and see who is the highest killer. It's neither the cavalry or the howitzer. It is in fact an infantry regiment. That's actually quite the surprise. What a turnaround. I was expecting it to be the cavalry, with howitzer close second, but as it turns out it was an infantry regiment. An infantry regiment that only lost 55 men. Quite impressive. But this is also quite impressive. Cavalry lost 10 riders while killing 400 enemies. The important part, though, is that this region now is under our control, And the Mughal Empire only controls a single region of India. And it looks like next episode I'll be able to destroy that. Have set up so I'll have destroyed them. And that will be it for this campaign. So we'll see if we want to do between empires or if you guys have something else in mind. With that said, this episode, since I crammed 3 battles into it, is quite long, so I should not hold you any longer. As I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.